To our breaking news this afternoon that the Facebook owner Meta will not renegotiate its content deals with Australian news media organisations. One of the individuals who nutted out this deal and got it done in the first place is the former competition watchdog chairman Rod Sims. He joins me now. Rod, what options are there for the government to force Meta's hand here and make them pay some reasonable compensation for the content they use?
Just to make 2 points, if I could, Karen. First, one, the point you just made, that this is very selfish behaviour because they don't want to pay anything for the content they're getting and therefore keep all the profits for themselves. And secondly, it has implications for whether people can get access to trusted news. But to your question, obviously the government now has to decide whether or not it designates Facebook under the legislation passed 3 years ago. I would imagine the ministers will consult widely, but particularly with media companies. And I would think it's a good idea to be much influenced by how the media companies suggest this be played.
Given your dealings with this company and the way you've described its behaviour, the selfish behaviour in this context, were you surprised by the outcome today?
No, I wasn't. This has been consistent with past statements from Facebook, which have been very concerning in terms of, as I say, their interest in their users getting trusted news. So I've always suspected this would happen. So no, I wasn't surprised.
And when it comes to their business model as well, they're making huge profits, soaring revenue. It's almost a sense of disdain, not just to the media and news landscape, but to our democracy. Is it overstating it to put it in those terms?
No, I think that's accurate, Karen. I think it's a disdain for the policy of the Parliament in whose country they're operating, and I think it will damage society doing what they're doing. And they don't seem to have much of a concern for that. So I think this reflects badly on Meta that they've taken this step.
And I know you've got to go, but just finally, what's the most likely outcome from here then, Rod? We're going to hear from the Minister Rowland, Communications Minister, and Assistant Treasurer Jones shortly, but what do you see as the most likely path forward now?
Oh, the issue is whether the two ministers choose to designate Meta under the legislation that was passed 3 years ago. In many senses, that's the obvious step to take. But as I say, I think the ministers will want to consult and think this through, particularly consult with media companies because they're the ones most affected, and just reflect carefully on the next step. I don't imagine that will take a long time, but I think that is the immediate next step. Just do a bit of consulting and thinking.